We will review some accommodations that may be appropriate for a student with a specific learning disability that are exhibiting the characteristics definitive of dyslexia. Examples of timing and scheduling, presentation, setting, and response accommodations will be provided on the following slides. Examples of accommodations within the timing and scheduling category include extending time and segmenting or chunking time. Providing extended time on assignments is often appropriate for students due to slow processing. Students may experience fatigue and loss of interest during tasks requiring a lot of decoding skills. By breaking down the duration of the task into shorter segments of time, students are more likely to be successful and to complete the assignment. Examples of accommodations for reading instruction may include the use of audiobooks for read aloud of books, the use of video for read aloud of books, preview story through pictures prior to reading, read stories or pages with a partner, teacher read aloud. Additionally, preview stories before reading, introduce specific vocabulary words used in the passage before reading, and do not insist that the student read aloud in class, but allow the student to volunteer for oral reading. Examples of accommodations within the classroom environment may include teacher cleans up and puts away unnecessary materials in the learning environment. Student may have preferred seating to reduce distractions. Teacher maintains classroom routines for predictability. Also, the classroom uses visual labels, visual instructions, and visual directions for procedures and materials in the classroom. Examples of accommodations within the writing instruction may include teacher grades for content and not on spelling on writing assignments, except on spelling assignments. Use speech-to-text software on longer assignments. Accepts oral answers on writing assignments. Use of scribe or allow adult to write oral answers. In addition, use fill-in-the-blank questions with word bank on tests and assignments. Minimize the need for copying. Provide a copy of teacher's notes. Students' use of spelling and grammar software on computer or tablet for writing assignments. There are many options for supporting students in classroom instruction. The following accommodations may include breaking long assignments into smaller or more manageable parts, providing frequent and specific teacher feedback on assignments throughout the process, creating hands-on learning experiences when possible. Also, developing rhymes and mnemonic devices to increase retention of information, frequent practice and checks for understanding of new materials, continued practice of previously taught skills. Also, access to recorded lessons to follow for more repeated review, extra time for oral responses in classroom discussions, use of video self-modeling to learn content, and accompanying written instructions with oral instructions and follow-up to check for understanding. Examples of homework accommodations include breaking down large assignments into smaller chunks, breaking multi-step directions into smaller parts, using visuals for prompts and directions instead of text. Additionally, using voice recorder for longer assignments, using speech-to-text software, providing fewer questions on a page, but still have the same number of total questions. Also, accepting drafts of work and providing feedback, accepting corrected draft work for a grade, and before completing homework, review directions with student and highlight keywords. Examples of organizational accommodations include providing a syllabus or project pacing guide ahead of time, announcing tests and projects in advance, using a timer to track work. In addition, using an organizer to track assignments worked on over multiple days. Color coding assignments worked on over multiple days. For example, math goes in a green folder or binder, reading goes in an orange folder or binder, and use of daily planner with adult check. Some testing accommodations may include: students are allowed extended time to complete tests. Students are allowed flexible test time, same amount of test time but broken into smaller testing sessions versus one long test session. Also, allow additional breaks during the test period. Teacher works to reduce or remove distractions in testing area. Student tests in a small group or test individually. In addition, students' use of sound blocking headphones to reduce distractions in testing environments. Teacher reads aloud test content, especially when testing comprehension skills. Additionally, give test questions one at a time or in smaller chunks, and allow the student to take the test in a different order or change the order of the test or subtests when allowed. Other accommodations to support students in the classroom instruction involve teachers' delivery of content. Some examples include teacher providing examples of what is expected, such as mentor text or completed work examples. Also, visual and graphic organizers to explain new concepts to students, clarifying statements and simplified written directions, highlighted important information in the text, and slow and deliberate language when explaining new material or directions. Thank you for taking the time to learn about Indiana Senate Enrolled Act and practice to help our struggling readers. Following the information in this course sets up all students, including those with the characteristics of dyslexia, for success. Please review the provided links for more information or contact the Indiana Department of Education with questions for more information.